Hello, I'm Milton and welcome to the Little Milto channel. Today we're going to have a look at the MAKITA DTP141 4-mode impact. It has screwdriver mode, drill mode, percussion mode and impact mode. Now I've been using this machine quite a bit, as much as I possibly could. And have I found anything that I dislike about it and like about it? Well, we're going to find out in this video. To start with, all the stats on this, it'll probably end up taking a whole video just to do all the stats. I'll give you the basics though. It spins at, in first gear, 700 RPM, and in second speed it spins at 2700 RPM. But first of all, I'm going to show you how the mode selectors work on this, and I didn't do that in the other video when I was going on about all what it can do. Now if we look here, this over here is actually the switch. I'll get rid of that. Use this one. That is a switch for the light. When the light is on and you depress the switch, the trigger, sorry, what happens is the light stays on for 10 seconds. For this, we're just leaving it off. We're not going to bother putting it on. So over here is your actual selector mode. And what you do is, it's in screwdriver mode at the moment. You pull the trigger and you can see here it lights up down on here. I'll just tilt this a bit so it comes out in the camera. That should be coming out in the camera. There. So then take your finger, and these are for your torque settings. It's on 7 at the moment. You keep pressing it. There's 8, there's 9, and then it goes to P mode. P mode is actually tap mode, and up above there you can see the battery indicator lighting up as well. So you press it again, we go back to 1. Now it was on 7, and this worked for speed 1 and 2. And I'll give you a demonstration on how the electronic clutch works, because this is the setting for that. Now if I turn this around and go to impact mode, now if you're in speed 1 on impact mode, it automatically puts it to speed 2 on the actual speed selector up above. I'll show you that anyway. Now this here, when you press it again, that is you in flat out mode on impact mode, third speed in other words. No, triggers went off. There we go again. Now if I press it again, it goes back to 1. That's speed 1 for the impact, that's speed 2 for the impact, and that's speed 3 for the impact. Okay then. Now if you look down here, you can clearly see this is why I'm not going to read out all the specs that it's got. All the settings have different specs for certain things. Like for example, when you're actually in percussion mode, which is first speed is 700, second speed is 2700, but your blows per minute for first is 8400, then you have 32,000 and 32,400 in second. And up here, your impact mode, first you spin at 1300, second 2200, and then third 2700, and then down here you have your beats per minute. First 1200, second 2400, third 3200, and then of course you got all down here. We have a maximum of 8 mil in concrete down here, and then this is when it all starts getting a bit right. It starts getting a bit all over the place. So if I keep it there, you might be able to read it, and if you pause it, you might be able to see some of the dimensions and things that it can do. And if you look on this page here, this page tells you how many newtons it is when you're in, say, speed 3 in first speed, how many newtons you get in that speed. And then over here there's high speed, how many newtons you get. This tells you over here what its capabilities are in actual wood and steel with the different high and low speed settings. And down here, what they're advising you is, if you're using this, the electronic clutch, it's better if you actually pilot hole first. I did actually experiment with that, and yes, it does work, and it is better, and it is a little bit easier actually. But the same old story, who's going to pilot hole the wood to put the screw in? You're just going to shove it in. So let's have a look and see how it performs in that function. Now the electronic clutch on this works great if it offers resistance. The only grey area you get with electronic clutches is when you're using flat-headed countersunk screws. But they still do it, and you can actually perform and do it rather well. But on average, yeah, there is a little bit of under or a bit of over screwing as they go in. However, let's see how it actually works in reality. Now that buried that one. So again, here I had this set. So we'll just take it back one. You've got to go all the way up through. We're on 7. We'll take it up to, we're on 6. Let's see what happens. This is what happens with them. And of course it is a little bit on the slow side, but I am comparing it to the DCD 996 for DeWalt. It's a little bit faster. But you see they're coming out perfect now, and they will sit them. So really and truly, anything that offers resistance, like nuts, bolts, pan-headed screws, pan-head washers on them, anything that has resistance as it hits the surface, electronic clutches work absolutely brilliant. That is the only grey area you'll get with them, is flathead countersunk screws, because that's what they're called. Okay then. Now I did say I would show you, and I showed you this before. If you're in first speed, well that's your speed selector there, when you actually turn it to impact mode, it actually turns it automatically up at speed 2. See? Because that's how you're supposed to use it. In speed 2, and you just control the speed by turning the little switch down here, which I did show you. Okay, but we'll go back now onto screwdriving mode, because we've now got a drill mode. Drill mode on this is actually quite good. It is actually quite fast in drill mode, spinning at 2,700. Just be correct again, I'm going to check that. Yeah, 2,700. And if you put it into first, it's got some power, but they don't tell you how many newtons it's actually got in first speed. What I can say about it is powerful. Hopefully I'm going to try a 32mm bit in wood to see if it'll actually do it, because I reckon it will still do it. It'll also should do it in impact mode, and we'll have a look at that as well, but not up here. Here we're just doing the basics up here. So we're in speed 2, and I'm going to show you now that it's actually better to put screws in. You see here, now these are 5 by 50, which is 10 gauge by 2 inch, and they are actually quite controllable to actually put in. And that's just lightly on the trigger as well. Oh, over buried that one. This decking seems to be softer than the last bit, and it is very, very controllable. And I must admit, they come out pretty good as well. So it really has controllability. If you ask me, for putting screws in, that is actually a better mode than the actual electronic clutch. And you do get quite good weight, and I have got good weight because I have been using it and have been practicing with it. But the other thing was, I thought this might be a little bit confusing for some people, like say my sons, because I thought it was going to be really confusing at first, and it wasn't. It's actually quite simple to use. In actual fact, one of my sons, he actually quite likes using it. He says, actually that's not too bad, it's quite simple once I'd showed him how to work it. So yeah, it is actually quite good for this. Now we jump over to percussion mode, and your selectors are up here. We'll get rid of this. Now what I found was, in percussion mode, I found these Bosch bits here, the blue ones as I'm saying, here. These here were about the best to use because they've got a hex shank on them that actually fit in here, and you can use them with percussion. But I thought for an experiment I'd try something else. I tried using this impact chuck here. Only problem is with in reverse it comes undone very quickly, but it also came slightly undone as well when I was using it in percussion mode. So I thought, is there a way around this? There is. So I invested in a chuck. This is actually a 6mm chuck. I got the wrong one. You can get an 8mm into this, but unfortunately it can jam the chuck up, so I'm not doing it. I'm only going to use a 6mm for percussion. And this has a hex shank on it, and it really is better in masonry using a standard masonry bit with percussion with this tool here. So it does actually work better, although the blue ones for Bosch are about the best. They do work quite well, but not as good as what I'm going to show you it working. Okay, this is a quick example how good this is in masonry, okay? That's hitting something hard, I can tell. And this wall being as damp as what it is, it does actually make this struggle, but it's still doing it. One more. There we go. Okay then, you see it in masonry. As I said, I would like to put an 8mm in and show you, but if I do, it'll jam the chuck again. Now, let's try a 32mm standard in first speed. I reckon it'll do it. Then we'll try the impact mode. Okay, we should be safe enough about here. We won't hit anything. Okay, we're ready. Oops, daisy. Yeah, doesn't like going through the bottom. Did it? Well, it done that, so I mean that was pretty good. Okay then. So that was in drill mode, first speed. It'll do it, but it doesn't like breaking through the bottom. Mind you, this decking's pretty tough going. So how's about using the impact? Fine, we'll do the impact. How do you select the impact? You turn it all the way over to impact, and watch this, it'll pull that up again. See? Just check it, we are in third speed. So we're good to go. So what I'm going to do now is, because we're hitting impact, I'm going to turn the camera microphone around the other way now, because it makes it not as noisy. Did it? Must admit. Okay, speed test. This has 150 newtons of torque, max. This is supposed to have 180 to 185. Okay. And of course we all know which this is. This is the hybrid Frey Bosch, the Freak, and this is a hybrid Frey MAKITA. So which one will set these screws down first? I don't know, we're going to find out. Now, I'll just remove the microphone again so it's facing the other way. Although I will admit, and I will let you listen to this, this is actually quite quiet. That got there down first. Okay. Thought I'd bring you in for a closer look at that so you can actually see the difference that they make. The Bosch turns at 2,800, the MAKITA only turns at 2,700. The screws are 6 by 100 or 12 gauge by 4 inch. Now we've got to get the DeWalt and we're going to try that one. This is a DeWalt DCF 886. Spins at 2,800, has 32,000 impacts per minute. this should be good, with a total of 160 newtons versus 150 on this one. So I think we can safely say that the Makita is actually pretty good, because the DeWalt did worse than what the Bosch did. Now that was a bit of a surprise even for me. I didn't expect that to happen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually set up now for a noise comparison between the Makita and the DeWalt. So now we've seen it in action now, and we see what it can do. And let's face something, the DeWalt and the Bosch that was being used, they were actual tools that were actually being used on the building site, and still are being used on building sites. So to turn around and say, oh, this is like a jobby tool, this is something for an extreme maybe DIYer, or somebody like a handyman, this is more than capable of actually taking on bigger jobs, because that is what the DeWalt and that is what the Bosch are still doing today on construction sites. So am I impressed with it? Yeah, actually, I didn't think it'd be that good. This thing is actually pretty damn well good. It's got limitations, I will admit, but so have the others. You've seen it yourself. I will admit, I did expect a bit better for the DeWalt. I think he might have hit a knot on that, but it still doesn't matter. This would have probably still beat it at the end of the day. And I will admit, I made a lot of mistake when I first introduced this with the first two videos. I had to do a part 1 and part 2 because there was that much going on with it. I said it was a new tool for Makita. It's not, it's been out for 5 years now. So how come we haven't heard about it? Simple, because the Bosch freak brothers, for what they are, kind of damage the reputation of any other hybrid coming out. So everyone's going to walk off and say, oh no, gone near them hybrids, are all rubbish. Actually, the hybrids are actually quite good, if you take into consideration that they are slightly lower in power, and especially Bosch's impacts, they're usually quite low in power and speed, but they get the job done because they're professional. This doesn't say it's a professional tool, this just says it's a Makita. It is a 4-way piece of equipment, which it has all the modes. I must admit, masonry, give or take on this one, it's not as good as some of them, but it's certainly not as bad as some of the others I've tried out. You can rest assured on that. Although the cost might inhibit things. I've never seen this actually as a package with batteries and a charger. I paid £185 for this. It is a little bit expensive, I must admit. Now, the impact mode is actually quieter than the majority of standard impacts. I'm not on about hydraulics here. We're leaving them out with. It's not as quiet as a hydraulic, but it is quiet, and I'm not too sure why. Whether or not it's because it's encased in a lot of this plastic in here, I don't know, but it's definitely quieter. You wouldn't get away with taking it into somewhere like a hospital or schools and other places, the blah 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 so on places, because it would still be classed as an impact, but at least you're not making as much noise towards yourself and everybody else round about you. So is it worthwhile buying? If that's what you want, then yeah, it's worthwhile buying. You're not going to be disappointed with it. It'll get on it, it'll do quite a few jobs, and that might surprise you. So yeah, but what do I think for the future of it? I think Makita should go back and start making it hydraulic. give it a little bit more power. But it's up to them if they do away with the electric clutch on it. I'm not that much bothered, and mechanical clutch would have probably done me just as good, but never mind. And some more buttons to play with on it. Some of these new features that they've got. I think they should revamp it and put it out there, because this is actually worthwhile buying, because you're getting a 4-way split. And as I said years ago on the building site, those 2 impacts I had, they were running it on building sites and they were doing the jobs. So yeah, this thing would do the same. So yeah. Anyway, I must say it, I was pleasantly surprised. I did think it was going to be a little bit underpowered, but it's not. And it will do some pretty darn well good jobs. So yeah, gets a bit of a thumbs up from me on this one. And I said, one of my other sons, he's got his eye on it at the moment. He actually quite likes it. And I've got a funny feeling I think that's where it's going to end up with him. Because I'm off, I want to try out some other things as well. So really, I might as well just give it to him and let him have the fun with it. Anyway, enough said. I'll just say this. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it interesting. And I'll see you the next time, when I think I'll be going on maybe about this nice saw here. Not too sure yet. It depends on the weather. So, bye now.